Sasi the Don. If you have asked me this question 10 years ago, I would have said, I don't know. Ask me in 10 years time. Well, for now, Sasi the Don has become a brand, I think, in the genre of reggae music. And over the years, it was a tough challenge to actually to find what Sasi the Don represents. Because it was up to me if I could change the name every 2 years once, and I'll still be who I am. It's just the name. But I was trying to actually see what was the whole essence of the name Sasi the Don. And over the years, it was all becoming more mature in what I do, my music, and releasing my albums. And on top of it, having songs for people to remember, and remembering the name Sasi the Don, I think it has become a household brand to the genre of reggae music. And it's just an avatar of mine, because my real self is Sasi Darren, and then the other side is Sasi the Don. So that's what I think. Sasi the Don is a character that I created for music, and nothing else could work for the name Sasi the Don. So that's what it is. It's a brand in music. As being the ambassador of reggae music, it's not about having pressure in my daily life, because I think I've always been able to cope with who I am and what I do, and how I manage people in my life and surroundings. But it's more of what I need to keep myself going, or even being relevant from year to year. Because music trend is just changing, and that's the only sort of pressure. Because if people out there say Sasi the Don is the ambassador of reggae music, so they're expecting new stuff from time to time. They want to know what I'm doing. Because when you always talk about Sasi the Don, it's always about collaborations and people he has worked with, and there's always been a benchmark. So there's always the pressure is, if you're the ambassador of reggae, what is next? What is next? And it always has to be greater. No compromise to anything less. I think that's the only form of maybe pressure I have. Okay, I think a lot of Malaysians have a lot of reservation when you talk about Malaysian music. And this has started not even from people who are complaining, like bands have started 2-3 years ago talking about it. Well, I started 11 years ago, and it's been a long time from where I started, what I did, and from point to point come to where I am now with my 4th album. I just want to tell people there's nothing for you to panic about. If you have heard Sasi the Don's name back from those days, right from Tamil music to collaborations with Amy Search and Zainal Abidin, and with the international acts that I've worked with till date. I'm just telling people that I'm just as you, a simple, humble person, normal people like anyone else who is just doing music. So when you hear Sasi the Don, don't panic, it's just music. So the name is all about music. You don't take Sasi the Don, and some people would think like, oh, is this guy Don, related to some form of gang or this and that, a lot of things. So just to keep the message straight, it's just music. So telling people not to panic. Don't panic when it's something to do with Malaysian. After all, you're Malaysian also. Yeah, that's why I came up with the whole title. Okay, the current music scene, I think music is always a great business and industry. And if there's a dip in the industry, if there's a sudden fall, it's just because people were not prepared for it. Like from the days when you talk about cassettes were selling big, and then moved to CDs, and then CDs to DVDs and LDs and this and mini discs, and so many things just change. And it's just that people were not ready for the change. Sometimes when you're in music, that's why I tell a lot of people out there, you can do music, you can be very talented, but one of the main reasons why a lot of people actually fail in music is because they don't understand the business behind it. Sometimes people don't understand how do you keep yourself going for 11 years, 12 years. It's not an easy process. That means I'm talking about people that used to dance to my music when they were 20 years old, when I did music 10 years ago. And today I'm talking to their baby brothers and sisters who were small at that time, growing up to still know Sasi the Don. So if you were prepared to actually know that, okay, the future is going to be about a lot of changes in terms of technology, in terms of music sharing, educating yourself, I think you won't be a victim of the drop in the industry. And even if there was a drop, and if it's come back now, it's good, because I think a lot of people believe that music is a great form of maybe passive income or a form of career. And And a lot of people are also getting into the whole idea of getting themselves involved in what they're passionate about. You talk about 10 years ago, when you go back and tell your parents about, I'm passionate about this, they think you're crazy. But today when you tell your parents you're passionate about art or music or stage drama and all that, they understand. The new generation people can already relate. That's why you see there's a lot of growth in independent music. Not just the indie bands, but any form of music, right from hip-hop to, R&B and all that. There are a lot of people trying one, don't work, move to the other. I've seen artists who change genre year to year, because they just not found what they're good at. And I think the industry is great. I think people have to be very positive, even though time is not good when they say. You can't be giving up just because the time is not good. If you really want to keep on going, you have to do it, because nobody's going to come and do it for you. Okay. A lot of Malaysians today, especially the younger generation and even some people who may have been ignorant about Malaysian music scene before, now started giving a lot of focus into the Malaysian music by itself, the whole business and industry. The reason is because a lot of them have proved themselves. A lot of acts go out there and actually prove themselves in things they are achieving, things they are doing from time to time, and they actually get this message out. One big problem with a lot of artists out there who are even doing great jobs, they don't actually share the story along with a lot of people. It's very important to do the interviews with the papers, with the magazines and radios. You need to keep yourself going out there and informing people what we are doing from time to time. One good example is someone like Yuna. When she came out of nowhere, and suddenly she's like one of the biggest thing now. Or even maybe someone like ZRB. You have not heard of ZRB 10 years ago, but you suddenly hear ZRB in the recent years and she's doing great things. It's because when she came in, she was doing a lot of groundbreaking stuff, and she actually got the information shared out to the public at the right time. When it's hot, you get the message out. And it's because of those reasons, a lot of the public out there who love music, they expose themselves to a lot of international stuff. And suddenly, when the radios and a lot of these media start promoting Malaysian music, people out there get to that idea like, oh, actually our Malaysian music is not bad, this and that. I get a lot from a lot of people. I've heard from my whole career, 11 years, I've heard people say Malaysian music is bad. I've got people who bow down to Malaysian music and say, you guys are great. Those kind of form of people have changed. So I think, end of the day, it's a very positive thing for the music industry. I think we should keep on going, because it's a huge platform for more people in the future. We need to encourage more younger people to get involved in music. So I think it's a good thing. The whole idea, I think, happened is because some people don't understand why I work with people from Apache India to Dr. Alban, and then even the other person I worked with this album was Maxi Priest, and most of them are of a very old school generation, like in the 80s and 90s. The reason is because I can go all out if I wanted to work with people like from the recent days, like maybe like Sean Paul and but at the end of the day, then it's just for me trying to show that I can do something with someone of Sean Paul's level. It's just because of today's time. But for me, deep inside, music is more of how I got involved into reggae is a whole total different level. I was influenced by the people I worked with. I grew up, my first album I ever bought in my life when I was in standard 6 in 1990 was Dr. Alban's Hello Africa. In 1990 I was going back from school. The first cassette I ever bought was the same time era of Vanilla Ice and MC Hammer's first album, Boyz II Men's first album. I don't know what age you guys were in 1990. We all born?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, not all that.
So in 1990 I actually bought Dr. Alban's first cassette, and that guy was a super hero in this whole European dance music, and then led to all the other acts. So for me, of why I work with them and how it happened is because I wanted it to happen. I told myself from point to point, I want to do this, I want to do this, I want to do this. And I think sometimes they say the whole law of attraction. I truly believe in it. I had denial on it. I did not believe, like you have read the book Secret. You know, sometimes even when I watched the video, I didn't want to read the book because there are too many pages. So I couldn't understand. I was reading and at times I felt I was flipping the same page. Did I read this yesterday? You know, did I bookmark the wrong page? I thought, you know what, drop this, buy the DVD and watch. And not that the secret taught me how to do it. I think I was already doing that before. So, but it just made me sure that you just got to sharpen, you know, or just put all your approach right. And when that happened, when I started putting all my energy to it, and when I wrote the right email, I contacted the right people online, all my hookups were online. If not for the digital space, I think none of this would have happened, you know. And they were very welcoming when I approached them, when I wrote to them, and I just went and did make it happen. When I told myself I wanted to have this whole positive approach of working with people and see what is the outcome, that is why I love just working with anyone. And when it came to working with anyone, I just did not allow myself to go in and say, oh, you know what, can I, because you know, because you're this artist, you know, you're so many 100,000 fans, and you know, I want to go and approach and work with you. I did not do that. I was not greedy of that approach. Sometimes people ask me, oh, how many fans the person has got, like on Facebook and all this kind of thing. You know, not maybe in the 100,000s. You know, like someone like Anita Sarawak don't even have a fan page on Facebook. Don't even have a Twitter account. Someone like Maxi Priest, who is only maybe, someone like Dr. Alban, for instance, don't even have a fan page on Facebook. But you don't categorize people by that. But when you go out to the society, go different parts of the world and ask people in Sweden and Denmark, who is Dr. Alban? Everyone tells you huge stories. Yeah. You know, you go down to Jamaica and ask people about Maxi Priest. Everyone looks at Maxi Priest as the father, the living father of reggae music. You know, from the times of Jimmy Cliff, who is still alive, Maxi Priest, who is still alive, people like Shabba Ranks, who is still alive. They are legends in their level. So when I approach them to work with them, is to make a point that we Malaysians can make it happen. And we are Malaysians, even when we are doing, when even a Malaysian is involved in a genre of music that is one of the most least, accepted in the world. You know, reggae could be popular. A lot of people may favor reggae more than R&B or hip hop. But when you come to about today's day, when I go for a concert, you know, oh, I want to watch this, I want to watch that. You know, people are very specific. It's because reggae music has just not had its space ever. You know, people know that reggae is there, but it's just never had its space. It's who comes in and do something. People like Sean Paul come do something. People like Sean Paul work with a lot of other people. You know, so someone like me who is also into reggae music should also complement the genre in that way. You know, that's why when I work with Harish Raghavendra, I try to showcase there's a lot of story to that. I have been invited so many times to go into Tamil movie before this to do something. But the reason I never did that is because I felt it was overdone. A lot of people say, yeah, you go and do it, it's great success and stuff, but it's overdone. But I was thinking, why not I work with a popular Indian singer and do my own stuff, do my own music and see what the fans say. And when we did the song Kadal Sagiye, now it's playing on radio and it's on high rotation and I think and a lot of people love it, a lot of people think it's a movie song. So we can still do it ourselves, you know, it's just whether you want to take that shortcut. You know, and any of these people that I work, it's not shortcut. You know, so when I worked with Amy Search before in 2003, my second album, it was my first Malay song, Swatu Impian. And a lot of people thought that I took a shortcut to get into the mainstream industry. I mean, you can think like that in the perspective of marketing. But to me, I did not think like that because I was still young in the business. But when you look at the actual point of it, it could be, but I didn't think of that. Right. But why I did a song with Amy Search is because it's Amy Search. He's a legend. You know, I look up to him. You know, I was a kid when I saw Amy Search on the Isabella movie and, you know, singing Isabella and all that. And if I had the opportunity to ask him, I better ask. I better not say, you know what, maybe another show or maybe another time I'll get a chance to see him and I'll ask him. But I didn't do that. I wanted to ask, I approach, and I go and make it happen. Even if he would have turned me down, I would have asked why, learn and improve. But until today, I've always been so positive, nobody has said no to me. And even right to the point of Anita Sarawak, to Jacqueline Victor, everyone has been very welcoming. And I have to really thank them for all those people that worked with me. Yeah.